Right now at 6, authorities released the name of the driver killed in a vehicle crash in Shoal Creek.
Excessive heat warnings continue across the area with dangerous heat index values out there. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, the Miami, Oklahoma School District will have its very own campus police force.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, halfway through the work week and getting that much closer to some relief from this dangerous heat across the area. Yes. We need that relief. One thing we want to show you is not that yet. We want to show you this Skywatch Storm Tracker. Take a look. Now, a lot of what you're seeing out there is not happening, but some of it actually is. We're starting to see a few showers and even a couple of thunderstorms out there. So this activity here is actually happening. And so is this out by Wichita. It's coming off a batch of thunderstorms. It was way out in northwestern Kansas and parts of Nebraska. It's beginning to die out, but take a look at the outflow boundaries that have pushed off of that, and that's beginning to trigger new thunderstorm development out ahead of it. So what we're watching is the potential for a few scattered showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms, at least for some of us as we go through the morning hours. Most of us, unfortunately, will remain dry, but a few showers are possible out there. And that'll be great ahead of this. We have excessive heat warnings for nearly every county in our area, and they run through the late evening hours, and this is for heat index values anywhere from 105 to 115 degrees. We cannot emphasize enough the need to take this seriously. That makes heat exhaustion likely and heat stroke very possible given these extreme heat index values across the area. So just as if this was a severe weather situation and we show you the safety tips for severe weather, we're going to keep showing you the safety tips for extreme heat. You've got to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, and check on the elderly and pets. And we've got information as well on heat exhaustion and heat stroke signs on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just click on the forecast. All right, MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good. Getting a little more daylight here in Kansas from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. And our camera at 7th and range line showing the same thing. Few clouds out there. 80 degrees, mostly cloudy, feels like 84, so it is already hot out there. Temperatures across the region hot to start as well. 79 Nevada, Fort Scott, 80 Iola, 82 Chinook, Parsons, Neodesha, 79 Miami, and 78 in Neosho. We got another day of triple digits in our forecast, and we also have some relief that's still on the way. We'll talk about all of that here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Authorities released the name of the driver who died in a single vehicle crash in Shoal Creek last week. He's 50-year-old Stephen L. Allen. You might recall he was driving an SUV last Thursday when it went into the creek. It was completely submerged by the time emergency crews arrived, and he was found dead inside. We still don't have official word on the cause of death or what led to the crash. The state of Missouri was scheduled to execute Johnny Johnson yesterday. Johnson kidnapped 6-year-old Casey Williamson, then brutally murdered her at an abandoned factory in 2002. Courts found that Johnson was competent at the time and is competent now. The execution proceeded as scheduled. And a man was taken into custody after a police pursuit Monday afternoon across Oklahoma City. Police identified the suspect as 31-year-old Lance Miller. Reporter Sylvia Corkill has more.
This is a stolen vehicle.
Taking off in southwest OKC near 119th and I-44, police identify the driver as Lance Miller, saying he led officers and troopers on a steady chase.
For the most part, he was going the speed limit.
The police have kind of laid back. Air One is on this, so they've kind of laid back from really pursuing this vehicle.
With the bird's eye view on the pickup, law enforcement on the ground kept their distance.
And we definitely have to take precautions, especially this time of day with the amount of traffic.
After multiple pit maneuvers and at least 2 spinouts, Miller was able to regain control of the pickup. Troopers finally putting an end to the 20-minute chase after forcing Miller's truck into a final spin.
Then when he started going into the Home Depot in these crowded areas, they had to bring this to an end before somebody got hurt.
With his truck disabled and a beer in his hand, police say Miller ignored their orders, refusing to exit the vehicle.
And now they're going to bring him out of the truck and take him into custody here. The person definitely did not want to come out of the truck.
No citizens were injured. There were no officers injured, and this ended fairly safely.
Miller went to the hospital to get treated for scrapes. Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation steps in to assist the Canadian County Sheriff's Office with an alleged sexual assault by a deputy. Authorities say Canadian County Deputy Wesley Wayne Hunter Jr. was transporting a woman from Bryan County to the Canadian County Jail for an outstanding warrant. During the transport, Hunter stopped in a remote location and sexually assaulted the female passenger. Hunter was arrested and booked into the Marshall County Jail on second-degree rape. And a group of Oklahoma residents is suing to stop the state from establishing and funding what would be the nation's first religious public charter school. The lawsuit seeks to stop taxpayer funds from going to the St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School. Oklahoma's Republican Governor Kevin Stitt earlier this year signed a bill that would give parents in the state a tax incentive to send their children to private schools, including religious schools. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. And we brought you the story of the establishment of the Miami Public School Campus Police Department a few months ago. As we get closer to the school year, the school district and police department are making preparations to keep students and teachers as safe as possible this year.
The vision of the school to start our new campus police department was to better serve our students and our community. We've had a great partnership with the Miami Police Department for the last 20 years, but we've just branched off this way. We'll have an officer in every school throughout the school days and the school year.
The campus police department and administration will continue to make preparations for when students come back on August 17th. And a city sales tax will continue to fund Parsons, Kansas emergency responders for at least another decade. The numbers are in, and Parsons voters overwhelmingly say yes to a proposal that will extend the city's half-cent public safety sales tax for another 10 years. 544 voted yes, where 94 said no. The tax supports funding competitive pay to retain experienced police officers and firefighters and to pay for training. It also helps buy vehicles and other critical equipment. That was the only area election yesterday, but several Missouri communities will head to the polls 6 days from today. Most of them are tax levy questions. Some will be general sales taxes. Others will be taxes on marijuana sales. For a full list of the elections next week, go to our website, koamnewsnow.com. Coming up, the suspected serial killer for the Gilgo Beach murders goes on trial. Plus, studios are ready to start negotiating with Hollywood writers again. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. But first, here's a live look from Crawford County Fair in Girard, Kansas. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, it appears studios are ready to start negotiating with Hollywood writers again. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers have asked the Writers Guild of America to return to the negotiation table. The producers have requested for a meeting to be scheduled Friday. Tuesday was the first time in over 3 months that the studios had sought to end the standoff between them and the WGA. Writers have been on strike in Hollywood for nearly 100 days. It is not known if the studios have also reached out to SAG with a similar request. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signed an executive order Tuesday that requires government agencies to identify people by their sex at birth instead of their gender identity. The executive order defines a woman as a person whose, quote, biological reproductive system is designed to produce ova, while a man is defined as having a reproductive system designed to fertilize the ova of a woman. A statement from Freedom of Oklahoma, an LGBTQ+ advocacy group, argues that the executive order will do more harm than good. The group says the bill does not protect women, but opens the doors for further civil rights violations, especially for people who identify as transgender. 2 former politicians in Michigan are facing charges in state court for being part of an alleged plot to break into voting machines. Prosecutors say Matthew DePerno and Dare Rendon helped Trump supporters illegally obtain and try to breach voting machines. They were allegedly looking for fraud in the 2020 presidential election. DePerno was backed by Trump in his bid for Michigan Attorney General, but lost to incumbent Democrat Dana Nessel in 2022. Rendon served in Michigan's State House as a Republican. Both were arraigned Tuesday. DePerno's attorney says his client denies any wrongdoing. And suspected serial killer Rex Heuermann made a court appearance in Suffolk County, New York this afternoon. The string of killings known as the Gilgo Beach murders was a cold case for years until the architect was arrested last month and charged with murdering 3 women. He has pleaded not guilty. Michael George reports from New York.
A handcuffed Rex Heuermann was in court as prosecutors turned over evidence collected for 13 years for the suspected serial killer's defense attorneys to go through.
It is a massive amount of material, and don't forget it's continuing because the investigation is continuing.
The architect was arrested last month, charged with the murders of 3 women, and as a prime suspect in a 4th, whose bodies were found more than a decade ago along a desolate stretch of New York shoreline called Gilgo Beach. Lawyers for Heuermann said their client maintains his innocence.
What has my client told me? He told me he didn't do this.
Investigators spent more than a week searching the suspected serial killer's Long Island home. Prosecutors say they discovered, among other things, a walk-in vault in the basement filled with hundreds of weapons. A lawyer for Heuermann's estranged wife provided CBS News New York with photos of what the home looked like following the search. Heuermann has been held without bail and on suicide watch since his arraignment July 14th, where he pleaded not guilty. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Investigators are also looking into whether Heuermann is connected to murders in Las Vegas and South Carolina, where he owned properties. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, quick check. We've got ourselves those excessive heat warnings for nearly every county in our viewing area. In addition, we're still holding on to triple-digit heat. There is relief on the way, even a few showers and thunderstorms this morning. We're going to take a look at all of that when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:17 now on this Wednesday morning. And for our northern counties especially, we've got a few showers and thunderstorms that have been developing out there. And that is all thanks to thunderstorm activity up by Kansas City and some dying thunderstorms out to our west. This is a bigger batch of stronger storms late last night, and it is dying out, but it's sent off these outflow boundaries, and that has triggered some additional thunderstorm development just to the north of Wichita and is helping to trigger some thunderstorms around our area. So we set this in motion from about 3 hours ago, and you can see where they start to flare up across the area. Now, not looking at anything strong or severe, but what we're hoping is we can get at least a few more of these scattered showers and thunderstorms through the morning hours, and so some of us can get some rain. Unfortunately, looking at all of that and looking at the data, I think the majority of us are going to stay dry, but some of us in our northern counties could get a little bit of rain this morning. We do have the excessive heat warnings for nearly every county in our viewing area, and that's for heat index values anywhere from 105 to 115 degrees, making heat exhaustion likely and heat stroke possible. And as I mentioned, just like with severe weather, we show you the severe weather safety tips. Extreme heat is just as dangerous, and we want you to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit those strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, and check on the elderly and your pets. Don't leave your pets outside too long either. MoDOT camera 20th and range line, we're looking good so far this morning, and same from the KDOT camera at East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, and that it's a little gray looking because we've got a few extra clouds out there thanks to some of the thunderstorm development. We are mostly cloudy in Joplin. Doesn't stop us from being hot though. 80 feels like 84. That dew point 72. So an uncomfortable air mass out there. And that's the same for all of us. We got 80 in Iola, 82 Chanute, Neota, Shea Parsons, 79 Pittsburgh, Miami, Lamar, and 78 in Neosho. We get our morning started. We've put the isolated showers on there because at least some of us may see some rain, maybe even a couple of rumbles of thunder out there. The rest of us partly cloudy, heating up quickly into the lower 90s by late morning. As we head into the afternoon, no relief whatsoever, only gets worse. We go back into the lower 100s, mostly clear skies across the area, and we stay hot heading into the evening. Still at 103 by 6, 95 at 8, 89 by 10. Overnight lows tonight, and some of us up north may get into the upper 70s, but a lot of us hanging out right around 80 degrees or so tonight, so you can't even open your windows and enjoy a cool breeze. There is no cool breeze out there, not not right now anyway. Unfortunately, triple digits again continue at least through Friday. We're going to be close to the triple digits on Saturday. But we got some evening thunderstorm chances going into Friday morning. They're low, but they are there. And we start to see slightly better thunderstorm chances heading through the weekend and into next week. And as we see some of those thunderstorm chances, our temperatures begin to drop. We finally start to see some relief from this heat as we go back into the upper 80s and lower 90s. And it will stay in the lower 90s as we head toward the end of next week as well. We have a brief pause from rain activity Wednesday. And then we see additional thunderstorm chances as we head into Thursday and Friday of next week. But just take a look at these temperatures. Just know that each day that passes this week that's miserable, we're getting one step closer to some much needed relief from the heat and an opportunity to maybe open your windows in the evening as lows go back into the 60s. But again, we've still got to deal with the triple digits and dangerous heat through at least Friday, and dangerous heat can continue into Saturday. Let's check your forecast. We've got some Health Watch news for you right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, along with the joys of summer comes a painful truth. People who suffer from migraines may find themselves suffering even more during the warmer months. Michael George has the story.
Adriana Vargo started getting migraines as a teenager, as many as 10 a month. Tightness or pressure in the head worsens into nausea and fatigue.
It almost feels like going to sleep is the only thing that is going to make you feel better, essentially.
Summertime brings a turn for the worse.
It's definitely the change of pressure, and it just starts to kind of build up. Then the next day when you wake up, you have the migraine.
Ahmad Estamalik is Vargo's doctor at the Cleveland Clinic. He says the three major summertime factors are extreme temperature, moisture, and pressure.
Our sinuses are interlinked with our brains, and think about the sinuses as, vacuums of air. Anytime you disrupt that vacuum and you create a, unequal or disequilibrium in pressure, it can trigger these migraines for a lot of patients.
Migraine treatments include dietary adjustments as well as medication or Botox. Without them, patients may find the symptoms debilitating.
What you'll hear from a patient is, I'm just bedridden, or I just can't function, or I can't take care of my children, or I can't go to work.
Vargo gets Botox injections every 3 months to block pain signals.
For me, it was life-changing that I can go months without getting a single migraine now.
Which is why doctors say it's so important to get professional treatment so that summertime doesn't become a big headache. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Dr. Stemelik says as many as 20% of women get migraines and up to 8% of men. Artificial intelligence is able to significantly cut down on the workload for breast radiologists. A new study in the Lancet Oncology found AI-supported mammography analysis, and it detects 20% more cancers compared to 2 radiologists working together with no increase in false positives. AI also reduces the time to read mammograms by 44%. And millions of smokers with tobacco-related lung disease are not being diagnosed and treated because their symptoms may not be specific enough. Researchers with the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center say about half of trial participants do not meet the existing criteria for diseases like COPD, but still have high levels of respiratory symptoms like shortness of breath and a daily cough. Doctors say this highlights the need to study the conditions of these patients more in order to find ways to help them. And nearly 6 million women in the U.S. live in counties with no or limited access to maternity care. A new report from the March of Dimes shows states with more rural populations have the highest number of so-called maternity care deserts, defined as a county without a hospital or center that offers obstetric care. The problem is also getting worse. 70 additional counties have been added to the list since 2018. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And the dangerous heat continues for us across the 4 states with another day of excessive heat warnings. We're also watching some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there this morning. We'll take another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 6:30, the Missouri State Treasurer hits the campus of MSSU to remind families about the 3-day sales tax holiday weekend.
We've got the excessive heat warnings once again across the area. We also have a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. We'll take a look at that coming up.
Also, new details on a plan for a crosswalk near Joplin High School, including how much it'll cost the district.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So we actually do have some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there.
That sounds
They're
promising.
very isolated, but at least some of us getting some rain, and you can see them there on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So we've talked about, the Virga, the things on the radar that aren't actually happening, or rain that's not reaching the ground. In this case, it's just bad radar returns on things that aren't actually happening. But this little cell, this one, these here, those over there, those actually are happening. So a few of us getting some shower activity, and all of this activity to our west is happening as well. So we had outflow boundaries coming off of a line of dying thunderstorms, and it's triggered some new thunderstorm development. We're not anticipating any strong or severe storms, but at least a few of us are starting to get some showers, and these are going to end up being short-lived, and they're going to be relatively isolated. As you can see, they're really sticking to our northern counties, and they're not very big as is, but at least against some of us getting some rain out there this morning. We do have the excessive heat warnings once again for nearly every county in our area as we head into the late evening hours, and that's again for heat index values anywhere from 105 to 115 degrees, making heat exhaustion likely and heat stroke very possible out there with this dangerous heat. And as I've been mentioning, we're showing you this because it's important. It's just the same as if this was a severe weather event. Dangerous heat can be deadly, just as well as severe thunderstorms or even tornadoes. And you've got to take precautions, and we're just reminding you, you need to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit those strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothes, and check on the elderly and pets, because you don't want to leave the pets out there, and you want to make sure the elderly folks are doing fine as well. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin, a little bit of cloud cover out there, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, that's just south of Pittsburgh. And from our camera at 7th and Range Line, you can see we've got those mostly cloudy skies thanks to some of those thunderstorms out there. We're sitting at 80 in Joplin right now. Feels like 84 at that dew point in that uncomfortable range into about 72. Humidity is at 76% with the south breeze at about 11. A warm, downright almost hot start for most of us across the area. 82s, Yates Center, Neodesha, Chanute, and Parsons. 78 Pittsburgh, 79 Fort Scott, Nevada, Miami, and sitting at 78 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, we've got the isolated showers up there. Again, this is really for our northern counties where they're seeing some of that activity, but we're hopeful we might get a couple of extra showers out there for some of us into southeast Kansas. We'll go partly cloudy otherwise and hot by late morning. We're talking low 90s, and heat continues as we head into the afternoon hours. We're looking at highs into the lower 100s, mostly clear skies out there, so unpleasant all around. And into the evening, no relief there either. We're 103 by 6, 95 at 8, 89 by 10, and we're dropping back only into the lower 80s out there. Some of us might make the upper 70s, but still way too warm, way too muggy across the area. We hold on to the triple digits all the way through at least Friday at this point. Got a slight chance for some evening showers going into Friday morning. It's a slight chance, but it is a chance. We'll take it. We're still pretty hot on Saturday, upper 90s, and then we'll see thunderstorm chances increase a bit as we head into the beginning of next week. And the other thing that this does is it kicks our temperatures down 15, 20 degrees almost as we fall back into the upper 80s and lower 90s across the area. We'll hold on to the lower 90s as we head toward the end of next week, and then we see additional thunderstorm chances by next Thursday and Friday, so some more much needed rain working in here. So we'll go from these unpleasant overnight lows to an opportunity to maybe open the windows and enjoy a little cool air as we head into next week. We just got to get through the next few days of this nasty heat, and then we will finally see a break. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, folks in Riverton, Kansas had some fun last night. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office hosted a National Night Out event. National Night Out is an opportunity to help build relationships and understandings between first responders and the communities they serve. KOAM photojournalist Fernandez Wallace was out there to check it all out.
Just want to thank you everybody for coming out tonight to our first National Night Out. It's been a good turnout. We hope you're having a good time with your kids, interacting with law enforcement and our fellow first responders. We're grateful for all of you. It's an honor to serve this community.
I can't really say I want them to hear anything they don't usually, because I feel like, especially in this community, we try our hardest to make it known that, we're here for them in any way, shape, or form, whether it be on duty or off. They're about to land it. I think it's up in the air right now.
I can hear it right now.
Yep, let's go, girls, come on. You tell Adam thank you for showing you the Bearcat. Well, I think they just came here to show you guys today. It's pretty cool, huh?
Hey, don't get your shoes as dirty as you can.
The sheriff's office was also handing out free gun locks to attendees. Well, cities and counties in Missouri can no longer opt out of the state's back-to-school 3-day sales tax holiday weekend. The Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Milek yesterday visited Missouri Southern to remind families about the opportunity. This coming weekend, all state sales taxes will be waived for qualifying back-to-school supplies in Missouri. In the past, cities and counties were able to still collect local taxes, but now Malik says that's no longer the case.
The community takes out the value of education, the value of saving for their kids, their grandkids, and I hope that they will understand how it can enhance the next generation and enable the next generation to succeed, whatever path they take.
That tax-free holiday runs from Friday through Sunday. And Joplin schools in the city of Joplin are partnering to install a crosswalk on 20th Street adjacent to Joplin High School. School officials say students crossing 20th Street have been a safety concern for some time. After months of discussions, the city of Joplin and the school district agreed to install a lighted crosswalk with a safety island between two lanes. The city and school district agreed to split the installment cost, which is approximately $38,000.
Especially in the morning and in the afternoon at dismissal time, are used to those kids crossing, and so generally keep a good eye out. Now they'll be able to keep that good eye open for them in hopefully a smaller constricted space with the ability to control when they cross.
Petit hopes the crosswalk will be installed before the first day of school. And because of the recent intense heat, air conditioning repair services are in high demand. A local company says this summer they've received 40% more calls about malfunctioning ACs than usual. To avoid problems, specialists recommend changing the filter and washing the condenser coil regularly, as these are some of the most common problems. They also suggest doing an annual maintenance to make sure the equipment will be ready when the temperatures rise.
Main things we see whenever it gets this hot and people are running their AC constantly is capacitors going out, because those are things that jump start the compressor and the fans, and those so it gets 240 volts or 120 volts and it sends 370 to 450 volts.
In these conditions, when we're above 105 degrees, we're beyond design capacity for the vast majority of air conditioning units in the city of Joplin anyway. So whatever temperature you keep it at, the odds are your unit is not going to shut off anyway. So I recommend people put it on the temperature they want and see what they achieve.
According to the Satterley specialist, knocking sounds and burning smells can also indicate that something is not right. A new study says Missouri is among the best states for retirees to live. The study, conducted by Bankrate, lists Missouri as the 4th best place to retire. Kansas also fared well at 11th best. Arkansas ranked 23rd, and Oklahoma came in at 29th. The study considered such factors as housing costs, taxes, and healthcare quality. But topping the list was Iowa. At the bottom, we had Alaska. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. How companies are rolling out AI technology to expedite some beauty treatments.
And we've still got excessive heat warnings across the area and even a few scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning. We'll take another look at that forecast. But first, here's another live look from the Crawford County Fair in Girard. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We will be right back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, your next manicure could be done by a robot. Companies are rolling out AI technology to expedite some beauty treatments. CBS's Anna Werner shows us how artificial intelligence could transform the beauty industry.
Customers seeking professional manicures have been heading to nail salons for more than a century.
But in San Francisco, you can now stop by the lobby of this office building and have a robot do it. It's the brainchild of startup Clockwork.
We really want this to be like grabbing a cup of coffee. And that could be anywhere from like apartment complexes to corporate offices, retail stores.
Clockwork's goal is to place these machines where people live and work, making a manicure super convenient and quick, just 10 minutes. We watched as the robot painted my nails with a single perfect blue coat, with just a minor hiccup requiring a redo of my thumb. Artificial intelligence, AI, is what enables this robot to scan nails individually and paint each accurately. Cecile Quiambo took a break from work to try it. What do you think?
I love them. I see myself coming back here often.
But if another company is successful, you might not have to leave home. Nimble Beauty has sold more than 5,000 of its home devices on Kickstarter. Its 4-coat manicure takes about an hour. My Express manicure, 2 coats in about 25 minutes, wasn't quite as precise as the Clockwork manicure, but the company says the machine learns over time using AI.
This is the shape of this nail. This is the cuticle. That is where the AI comes into play.
To see what artificial intelligence in the beauty space can really do, take a look at this. You're watching robot arms ever so gently pick their way through this woman's eyelashes to add eyelash extensions. It's a process that typically takes a human over 2 hours of precise, painstaking labor. That's why Loom co-founder Nate Harding decided it was a great job for a robot.
It's so laborious. And it's right on the edge of human ability. Like, I like robotics applications where you're augmenting what a human can do, not really replacing them.
Lisa Sansanong came to Oakland all the way from Kansas for this. Here she is before and after.
It feels great and it looks, I love it.
But will this take lash artists' jobs? Their national association told us it doesn't think so. While it acknowledged some lash artists have expressed fear of losing their jobs, it said the robots could attract a whole new clientele for lash extensions. So what about nail technicians?
That's like saying like a vending machine would put a chef out of work. What we're going for is express services, get in, get out. There's just a whole gamut of things that humans can do, and this is not that.
Her company is putting out 2 to 3 more machines in new locations each month. And Loom just installed a machine in a retail outlet, Ulta Beauty, in San Jose, California. Anna Werner, CBS News, Oakland, California.
CBS News asked several organizations for nail artists if they were concerned about robots putting nail techs out of jobs, but did not hear back. Nimble Beauty expects its at-home machine to be available for purchase early next year. And Fitch Ratings has downgraded the United States credit from its highest AAA rating to AA+, citing the nation's growing debt and eroding political stability. The International Credit Rating Agency still says the American economy is, quote, fundamentally strong, end quote. The White House says it strongly disagrees with the decision, and U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen called the move arbitrary and based on outdated data. A New York resident has filed a lawsuit over his beef with Taco Bell. This complaint accuses the fast food chain of misleading advertising, claiming that its ads show at least double the amount of meat and vegetables than what's actually in the menu items. Taco Bell did not respond for requests for immediate comment. And CVS will slash 5,000 jobs to cut costs. In a statement, the retail pharmacy giant said, quote, "The difficult decision we are making will set the company up for long-term success," end quote. The job cuts are expected to impact corporate staffers, not those who work in customer-facing roles at stores, pharmacy clinics, or customer service centers. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your weather.
Yeah, we are continuing to monitor the extreme heat across the area. A number of excessive heat warnings continue for virtually every county in our viewing area. We also have on the Skywatch Storm Tracker some of these little guys. They are not very big. They are not numerous, but some of us across the area, especially in our northern counties, are starting to get in on some shower and thunderstorm activity. There's kind of popped across the area. You can see a few more just just to the southwest of Lamar, west of Pittsburgh, north of Mount Vernon, and we are also watching this little batch of storms out here by Wichita as well, all coming off of what was a dying bunch of showers and thunderstorms out to the west. We take this back, and you can see the outflow off of that dying batch of thunderstorms, and as it pushed off to the southeast, it triggered a few more thunderstorms out there. Not everybody's going to get rain, unfortunately, but some of us may get a few showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms through the morning hours. We'll have more on your complete forecast here in just a little bit. It's also almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. We love doing that. They're coming up after the break. But before we do that, do you see these folks? Look at them. Now they're not in slow motion. They are moving around, getting ready for CBS Mornings. And let's go see what they're preparing for us on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gayle King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, hip-hop legends. That's rapper Jadakiss and iconic DJ Tony Touch join us to discuss their new documentary. It's about 50 years of hip-hop still going strong. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're going to begin in Fairland with Riley Jane Oakley celebrating number 9 with happy birthday wishes coming from Papa Tom, Grandma Crystal, and Aunt Caitlin.
And happy 70th birthday to Randy Johnson out there in West Mineral, Kansas.
And over in Erie, we've got Jim Carlson celebrating number 80. Now, Mr. Carlson is a retired math instructor from the Neosho County Community College. Happy birthday, Jim.
And happy 26th anniversary to John and Vicki Johnson. This is a big one for them out there in Cherokee, Kansas. Congratulations.
And in Columbus, the Yeagers are celebrating Paul and Mila, their 48th wedding anniversary. Congratulations and happy anniversary to the Yeagers in Columbus.
And Linda and Jerry Rockers, happy 50th anniversary out there in Joplin, Missouri. Congrats.
And our list goes on with Neva Qualls celebrating a birthday in Columbus. Happy birthday.
And Michael L. Haggerty in Frontenac, Kansas. Happy birthday to you.
Kim Wilson in Chanute celebrating birthday number 64. Happy birthday, Kim.
And happy birthday to Mike French out there in Mulberry, Kansas.
Now, there were only 10 names on this list, 10. And I know there's well over 10 people in the 4 states, and I guarantee you there's well over 10 people celebrating birthdays and anniversaries, and we want them sent to us so we can celebrate with you. Caitlin, where do they need to email these things to?
Well, Chris, just have them submit their birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include pictures and any fun little messages you want to send.
Absolutely. And of course, while you're on our website checking out all the really cool things it has, make sure you take time to sign up for this guy. It's the KOAM Birthday Club. You get great deals from local businesses. Additionally, you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So make sure you head over to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, let's take a quick look out at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Still have these little pop-up showers and thunderstorms across the area. We got one west of Pittsburgh. We've got this one just to the west of Fort Scott. We've got these up here, and we've got a few just outside of our area, northwest of Wichita, all coming off the outflow of some dying thunderstorms. They're practically gone now, and we're going to continue to see them. So our northern counties, maybe getting a little further to the south, could see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning. They're not going to add up to much. As you can see, they're pretty darn small, but at least some of us getting some rain as we head through the morning hours. Unfortunately, all of us getting in on the heat as we've got the excessive heat warnings for virtually every county in our area, and this is for heat index values of 105 to 115 degrees, making heat exhaustion likely and heat stroke very possible across the area. So we want to remind you, you've got to take frequent breaks and stay hydrated. You need to limit those strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothes, and also be checking on the elderly and your pets. Don't leave them outside too long. They will not enjoy this. It is not good for them. Quick look outside. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline starting to get a little bit brighter out there and a little more brighter on the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue just south of Pittsburgh. We are seeing mostly cloudy skies, and see where some of the thunderstorm activity trying to get going. Still hot though in Joplin. 80 feels like 84. That dew point unpleasant at 72, and temperatures around the region 80 80 in Iola, 79 Fort Scott, Lamar, 77 Pittsburgh, 82's Neodesha, Chanute, Parsons, 79 in Miami. We're going to take another look at your forecast and, of course, the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when the morning show switches over to Fox 14, the Missouri State Treasurer, stops by Missouri Southern to remind cities and counties they can no longer opt out of the state's back-to-school sales tax holiday weekend.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities released the name of the driver who died in a single vehicle crash in Shoal Creek last week. He's 50-year-old Stephen L. Allen. You might recall he was driving an SUV last Thursday when it went into the creek. It was completely submerged by the time emergency crews arrived and found Allen dead inside. The state of Missouri was scheduled to execute Johnny Johnson yesterday. Johnson kidnapped 6-year-old Casey Williamson, then brutally murdered her at an abandoned factory in 2002. Courts found that Johnson was competent at the time and is competent now. The execution proceeded as scheduled. Parsons voters overwhelmingly say yes to a proposal that will extend the city's half-cent public safety sales tax for another 10 years. 544 voted yes, 94 voted no, and the tax supports funding competitive pay to retain experienced police officers and firefighters and to pay for training. It also helps buy vehicles and other critical equipment. Cities and counties in Missouri can no longer opt out of the state's back-to-school 3-day sales tax holiday weekend. This coming weekend, all state sales taxes will be waived for qualifying back-to-school supplies in Missouri. In the past, cities and counties were able to still collect local taxes, but now that's no longer the case. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We've got the excessive heat warnings continuing today. Heat index values 105 to 115. Highs easily into the lower 100s again under mostly clear skies. We'll stay hot and clear through the evening hours as well and eventually drop back into the lower 80s for our overnight lows. Triple digits continue at least through Friday. Still hot on Saturday. And then we'll start to see our temperatures calm down a bit and become more reasonable as we head into next week.
Coming up today at noon, we're making Asian lettuce wraps in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Henrietta Lacks died of cervical cancer in 1951, and soon after, doctors used some of her cells without her permission that would later go on to fuel medical breakthroughs for decades. Coming up on CBS Mornings, how her family finally got justice 70 years later.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your local morning news continues. This morning, Catherine Pinto from the K-State Extension Office stops by and tells us all about a program known as the Happy Healthy Snack Project.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.